Hi Leo, Sun, Moon and Rising, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to your May Scorpio eclipse reading. So this one's taking place on the 5th of May and it's a lunar eclipse. So there will be certain internal triggers we experience. For example, a shift in feelings, a rise in resolution, desire to let go of things, lighten your load, so on and so forth can come up here, which then leads to you taking external stances. Okay, you're taking certain action as a result of something internal. Meanwhile, we had a solar eclipse in the sign of Aries at the very last degrees of Aries, so that was quite an urgent type of energy that was coming through at that time. That took place on the 20th of April. I've made zodiac specific readings for that already. If you're curious, you can check it out. I would recommend you do so, because it gives you like the first half of what this eclipse season is trying to manifest for you. In this reading, we will see what the internal triggers are and how the solar eclipse is playing hand to hand, but how exactly it is doing that will be more available in the solar eclipse reading. All right, so let's get into it. One more thing to mention though, before we get started, is that Mercury will be retrograde as the eclipse happens. And even the first eclipse, the Aries one that I mentioned, is also being experiencing the retrograde phase, because Mercury was already in shadow and it went retro right the next day. So on the 20th we have eclipse and the 21st it goes retrograde, right? So it's very soon after and it kind of carries the energy. It's like there is a bright revelation or something comes to light, and then now we have to go backward a little bit and then look over, gather more information, revise certain plans and things like that. And as we are doing that, we get this other eclipse that gives this new feeling and a wave of impulses or even psychic intervention. Actually, I'm sensing a lot of divine interventions, and I'm also seeing that so far in all of the zodiacs. So it's likely that we have some sort of revelation or clearing that helps us move to the new energies, basically. Because Aries is like a pioneer. It's taking initiative on something and moving forward. It's a fresh new start. Meanwhile, Scorpio is about decluttering things. So there is a simultaneous, there is an opportunity trying to come in here, but we gotta clear some space first. All right, so stuff like that. All right. Oh, wow. All right, we have the Ace of Swords, which is so perfect. It's the first spark. It's the idea, the epiphany, the breakthrough that kind of lights you on fire, basically. And you are a fire sign. You love that passion, you love that drive. So whatever it is that is coming through here for you is inspiring you to move forward in perhaps new directions. Okay, this is something very new. Okay, let's see more. We have the Four of Swords. We have the Three of Swords. Yeah, that's interesting. 3 and 4. I'm gonna keep it like this, keeping it, ascending order. Then we have the King of Swords. Interesting. Wow, all 4 swords so far. And we have the Page of Wands. Finally, we have the Wands. I was wondering, why are we seeing so much air quality? Okay, so I'm gonna guess, some scenarios. There could have been heartbreak about a situation or about a person in the past. And that has not been fully healed or dealt with to each and every level. So while you may have moved on consciously, it could have left a mark, a fear, or a self-insecurity, a change in your belief system, your thought pattern, the way you present yourself, and so on, which is not inherently you. And you know that, there's something off, that sort of feeling, or you're afraid that something might repeat. So that is being cleared out in this particular eclipse here. Okay, that's coming into consolidation. And I say that also because we have Pluto in Aquarius, which is right opposite your sign, right? So we're automatically dealing with our projections, how other people see us, what types of people we interact with one-to-one, who are our partners, Who do we desire as our partners? Close friendships, businesses, types of clients you want to attract, the way that you communicate and collaborate with other people. All of those things kind of come on the table here. Okay, so there is some sort of communication or idea that comes in that helps you get out of difficult circumstances of the past. And it kind of lights that soul on fire, like I was telling you with the Ace of Swords there, but also the Page of Wands showing up is just absolutely optimum. This can also indicate that you have many ideas that are coming forward here, not only communication, but just you have many ways and possibilities that you can think of, but you might be feeling a little bit tired and as if you have tried certain things that have not worked. So you're not really sure how truly brilliant something is, even if it's very inspiring. But the King of Swords here indicates that you are ultimately taking a logical stance. You're not getting emotional here, you're keeping things very rational and you're taking action accordingly. There is some level of strategy involved here so that you don't repeat the same actions, but there is a lot of intelligence in what do you let affect you. The Three of Swords is like things that just don't mesh well, trying to mesh them together. And it's kind of like, you know, have you tried magnets? The South and the North Pole magnetize towards one another. It's like hard to keep them apart. Meanwhile, the North and North or the South and South, they repel each other and you have to try really hard to bring them in. And the moment they touch, it just breaks. Right? They just immediately separate. It's that kind of vibe. Something that does not work will just not work. You can't force it to work. That's kind of the vibe of this eclipse that's coming through for you. But your mind is very sharp and observant to see what does work. You're not resisting the flow and the epiphanies that are coming through anymore. Okay, and that's kind of what allows this recovery, because eclipses act like major portals of energy. It feels as though there is a wave that's coming through here to bring that healing and consolidation and just total clarity in the way forward, so that you can kind of begin again, or you can reinvigorate something with your passion and your light. Let's say you're doing something creative, but you've tried the technical stuff. You know, you've listened to other people, you have, you know, worked in teams, you've done everything that you needed to do. You've even allowed other people to, you know, have their contribution and whatever the case is, right? But it has just not worked. So ultimately it feels as though what I did not work, but you have to also acknowledge that there are many other influences that were a part of your life, because of which the ultimate goal was that something did not work out. But in this case, it looks as though this idea is coming to you personally and you are pioneering it personally. You're very curious about this, and like I said, it's something very new. So give it that fresh new chance. You still have to take it forward, but it's really wonderful to see the Ace and the King together. They're the beginning and the end of the sword suit. Okay, so it means that regardless of what has happened in the past or what might be bothering you right now, you are determined to heal it. You're determined to understand it, heal it, go through it, whatever the case is, voluntarily, or the universe does it for you. You know, either way, that time is up. The pain is done. You know, you just don't want to deal with that anymore. So we just gotta, you know, fix it, look at it, understand it, whatever it needs to be done, that just needs to be done. Acceptance, forgiveness, whatever the case is, you're doing that for your own growth. And that's what takes you from the Ace to the King. On top of that, you have this drive within you. This motivation and inspiration is unending. You are generating that almost. The pages are very willing, okay? So you are in a place where you're just willing to take action. The direction just needs to present itself and you're on it. So the idea is being brought to you here and you're immediately on it. You're making something happen. The King of Swords is a delegator as well. So if you have been taking on too much on yourself, then you're letting some responsibilities go. You're taking a break perhaps, or you're giving the work to someone else. And you're like, just figure it out, you know, play nice, figure it out. I'm off. I'm taking a break here. Okay. You're doing that out of self-love, letting go of certain pains for the sake of self-care and self-love. And that's very important. And you're having a lot of fun, and you're kind of rediscovering yourself. You're having these fresh new hobbies that could come up here as well. That's just very exciting for you. Okay, wow. All right, so let's see what else we have. We have the Raven coming through, which is the universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. Yes, very nice. Then we have the Blue Jay, which says the time is right to access and master your abilities. Do so with humility and control. Oh, the control is like very much the King of Swords. Very measured words and actions. Nothing is impulsive. Nothing is, out of place. No rash decisions. Everything makes sense. Okay, and sometimes that might not work with you. That's not how you generally operate, right? You're a fire sign. You are, the impulse is like, that's it. You need that desire, that passion, that boldness. Let's just go on it. And you're action oriented. Meanwhile, the sword suit is like, let's think about this. Let's involve the logic. Let's ground our ideas into, something that is manageable, something that we can execute in a timely fashion. And that's very much Aquarius domain, right? So there can be a mentor, for example, that comes in that gives you these insights, sparks this new idea, and you're so willing to learn from this person because that gets you out of a sticky or a painful situation. But I don't think you're starting from like scratch, but you might be taking a sort of training course, for example, or, you're just experimenting with something here in a completely new way. So you might still be skilled, but you're trying out different things. So that kind of revitalizes things, okay? So humility and control. Spend some time. Don't be very flighty about this, because aces and pages have that tendency to be like, wow, this is the new shiny thing. This is very interesting. Nice, I'll try it. And then 5 minutes later, okay, what's the next new shiny thing? They have a little bit of a short attention span. I'm not saying you do personally, but it can be that there are many ideas, right? So you want to see what works. You want to see. You're just excited to delve into those things. Be excited. Be passionate. Keep true to yourself, but also remember to come back to the logic and also the practice of things. Give it some time. Ground it in. Understand it properly before you move on to the next thing. But of course, explore right away. Okay, then we have Oriel. Okay, wow, I've not seen this one since forever. A new creative venture is on the horizon. See it as a positive change. Where has this card been? Seriously, I used to get this so much when I had first started the channel. Okay, then we have Ren, which says, be bold and confident. Use all of your resources to create your dreams. Yes, we have that as your Taurus. My Taurus is your 10th house. That's where we will have the sun. And we have Mercury retrograde, and we have Uranus. Okay, so there's like a lot going on in your career sphere or in your goals and ambitions. It's also about what you think about success. What is success to you? What are your goals exactly? What are you trying to establish? What's your legacy? There can be this like huge thoughts, but to get to those huge things, we got to make like little steps. So the Ren reminds you to use what we have right now. Okay, what do you have right now? Use those things to make something that takes you towards those goals and aspirations. The new creative venture is actually talking about the Ace of Swords and the Page of Wands that we have been looking at since the beginning of the reading, right? So this one is again indicating that you're being taken out and the situation is coming in from the external event. I would suggest again you watch this solar eclipse. We can delve into how it is coming in. Perhaps we'll see what we get there. But in this situation, it's like you are getting ready. This is your excitement rising. What is happening is that healing, which means you have this very clear channel to gather whatever it is that the world has to offer. You're learning, you're soaking up information, and productive, positive affirmations, healing words, and whatever it depends on your situation, of course. But everything that you're taking in, you're discerning about that, okay? You don't want to be attracting or talking to the same type of people that, you know, have simply not worked for you, that are not true to the version that you are right now, nor true to what you're trying to be, right? That's not even relevant here. So you're not opening the doors for opportunities that are misfits and just don't work with your true self. You're discerning in who you listen to, but when you find those people, you allow them into your life and you're understanding and learning from them. You might meet someone who is very logical, okay, and again, that brings you a lot of balance and harmony, helps you heal from difficult past relationships, and makes you very excited and passionate because you feel as though you're ready. Okay, some of you could have been, you know, not dating for quite some time because you've let your own word stop you, or someone else's word in the past stop you, got a bad impression, whatever the case is. But now there is like the clearing of space. You're like, I'm ready to meet people. I feel social. I feel like myself again. You know, more of those things. Now, the universe is calling you to notice important synchronicities. This is so spiritual in nature. Ravens are very spiritual. They bring in some messages from the divine and so on. So listen to those nudges. And like I said, the aces and the pages can lose the idea. More so the aces than the page, actually. They can lose the idea very quickly. So make note of that. Remember it somehow, you know. However you remember information. We have the offering coming through. We have the shapeshifter. Nice. And we have the mentor. Wow. All right. This is the owl. And the King of Swords is represented, I mean, you can liken it to the owl spirit because of the wise, all-knowing, intuitive side of him. Okay, he makes decisions for the bigger picture. He's not about making a strategy for today, right? He will make the bigger picture, he'll make the aspirations very clear, and then he will work backward to how we can make it happen right now. So you're gonna have to have this big idea and then trickle it down. Okay, that's what the mentor does. And once again, you can come across a mentor, okay, a boss figure or some authority figure who you consider authority in something that you are trying to learn or get to a level of expertise. You might come into contact with them, or in some resource that they have already published, if they're, you know, if they've written books or whatever the case is. But you're coming across that information and it's so well put, okay, that you are excited to learn. It shows promise. It seems reachable. Even if it's such a big thing, you can do it in small little steps, and that's exactly what invigorates you. The shapeshifter as well, it can be that you're acting in your everyday life. Some of you could be actors or other artists in some way, and you are learning from someone you admire and you're willing to pay the fees for it, the offering, or you're willing to spend your time over there. It's a necessary sacrifice, let's say, in order for the greater good, basically. Okay, for that to come to fruition here. You're making big picture actions and plans over here, and you're taking action, absolutely. The shapeshifter is very dynamic as well. So is the offering, which is like you're doing something here. You're inspired to. There is a rise in that feeling, basically. You just feel pulled, you feel called to move in a certain direction. Okay. So the shapeshifter can, apart from the acting bit, it can be that you are you get an opportunity to be an acting mentor, like someone who generally teaches is out, and you might be in the assistant position, but now you get a chance to be a teacher for like a day, or a mentor for a day or a week, or whatever the case is again. But that gives you a very strong glimpse of what you're capable of. And now you want to take direction in that way. And it might be even surprising for you, because internally you might feel as though you're not yet ready. And this goes for either whether or not you have the assistant position or whatever, that was an example. But you might feel as though you're still new to this, you're not ready for this expertise. So you kind of want to learn more, but simultaneously You also are offered a chance, or some idea comes through which pushes you to take a leadership position as well. So this is sort of a simultaneous teacher role, student role type of dynamic coming through. So you have to shape shift your way. And that goes for even like, let's say you have a tech job and meanwhile you're doing something creative. And the creative thing is something you're still developing. You kind of have to become both in that particular time. Doing too much of this can also be talking about like something you're doing right now. And that's what is at odds. In this eclipse or beyond this eclipse, in the coming 4 to 6 months, you will gain a larger level of clarity and expertise to be able to choose very clearly and bring into alignment all your dreams and decisions and plans, and you're taking action, you're thinking the thoughts, you're saying those things, everything that's needed. You're offering your resistances, you're giving up those things that inhibit you from experiencing your goals. Okay, so let's see what else we have. So Leos in the May Scorpio eclipse, please. We have Taurus, Venus, and the 11th house, rising in popularity, gaining more friends, or gathering a lot of support from your social media, from the public in general, doing things for the greater good and feeling so fulfilled doing that. But it appears as though you can get some financial or material blessings in the future, but at the moment you might have to give up some finances, like volunteering or donations or things like that could be coming up here. Perhaps you find that charity work is something that really calls to you, right? So first you have to go through the motions of identifying what it is that calls you to your aspirations. 11th house is your hopes, dreams, and fears. Not fears, but like hopes, dreams, and aspirations, but can have fears depending on what planets and zodiac you have. But Venus in Taurus indicates that you're gathering more resources to make those things happen where there has been some fears or insecurity. Taurus can get quite stagnant, okay? So because you're doing something that you've always been doing, you don't want to make a change because it seems uncomfortable. That's the kind of energy. But on the plus side, it is, if it sets its mind to something, then that's it. And you are a fixed sign as well, so you have that same quality, a little bit more different way. So I really love this earthiness for you. It grounds your ideas, brings them into reality, and Venus helps you get there. Okay, there can be some guidance coming through from, again, your friend circle or someone in your network that you admire and adore. Okay, so that's what I have for you, Leos. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope the reading resonated and that it helps you out. Make sure to check your solar eclipse reading. It'll give you a broader picture of things. And for personal readings, you can find me on Etsy. The link is in the description box and the comment below. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.